it's now time for us to really learn some important information from Dr. Kat Lewis. Now, you've seen her on the show before, but for those of you who are new, she uses the principles of functional medicine and the Vedic science of consciousness to help spiritually minded people, that's all of us, enhance their mental, emotional, and physical health. She understands that a healthy body is essential for achieving higher states of consciousness. So, by embracing these practices, she helps us to create more coherence with the unified field, which, of course, is the boundless energy that is our true self and the source of our vitality and health. And she wrote, and I'm putting into the chat box right now, a beautiful page about the science of how love heals, how the heart heals. And the moment I read it, I think I texted you right away and said, when can we have you on the show? And this was the quickest we could get you on. So, Dr. Kat, welcome back to the Awakening World. And tell us what you've discovered and put together.
Yeah, so actually, so I wrote this blog and the link is there that Scott put in there. And I had to send it to the love coach. I mean, I could not send it to the love coach because it's how love heals. It's the science of how love heals. Um, so I'm really excited to share this. Okay. How love heals, the science of coherence, the field, and regeneration. So I think most of us have heard the saying that love heals. And we probably tend to think that love heals because it makes us feel good emotionally. But what I want to talk to you about tonight is something more literal, that love heals because it changes the electrical state of the body. And that leads to healing and regeneration. So we also tend to assume that love is just a temporary emotion that we feel for certain people or towards something that is the object of our desire. But what if love, that feeling that we feel, the warmth, the spaciousness, the expansion and bliss that we feel in our chest isn't just nice, isn't just a nice temporary feeling, but that frequency of love, that vibration is literally a physiological state with its own bioelectric signature that leads to healing and regeneration. To understand this, we have to first understand what kind of universe we actually live in. And many of you, I know this audience are probably familiar with Nassim Haramein at the International Space Federation. And so what modern physics is showing us is that space, this field of existence that we live in, is not empty. It's actually full of energy, and that energy is information. And all matter, so all the material objects that you see, the atoms that are forming the material objects you see, and our physical body emerge out of this space. So, in this sense, our bodies are not separate from this field of existence that we live in. We are made out of it, which means our body's not powered only by food and chemistry, it's powered by its relationship to this field of energy. Some connections might already be made right now, and you might be thinking of ancient Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine, where they talk about qi, the life force, and energy. It's a field of energy, and it's what's giving life to the physical body. So our health is not just about what we put into our body. That's important, certainly, but it's more about how connected we are to our own source, to this field of energy. So these are the things that our body really needs, our cells need to be healthy. They need voltage or electrical potential. Now, that might be something that's new to you, that our cells need voltage, but you might have heard that cells need a certain pH to work. So pH is, you think of the acid-base balance in the body, but pH is really referring to voltage. We can convert pH into voltage. So pH just stands for the potential, the amount of hydrogen ions in a liquid. So voltage and pH are the same. It needs polarity, electrical flow, nutrients, and also coherence. And coherence means really just reduction in noise. It means some order. And it also is referring to coherence with the field. the unified field. So coherence it's more about access and not about supply. So this field of energy is always present. It's never not there. It's just whether we're aware of it and whether we're in coherence with it. So our coherence with it is what's determining whether it's going to propagate through our body. When we're in coherence with the field, that allows the energy and information, because energy is information, to come up from the field and rise up through our biology. And decoherence impedes that transfer of energy. Okay, so disease is really the loss of coherence or decoherence. So when we are in a chronic state of contraction, when we're stressed, when we have unresolved trauma, that can be physical trauma, mental or emotional trauma, we're going to be in a stress state. And these chronic states of contraction disrupt that electrical harmony. They lower our voltage and they block our access to the field's energy and information. So when we're in a chronically stressed, and a lot of people don't know that they're chronically stressed because it's our normal way. We're so used to being stressed that we think we don't even realize we're stressed. But I'll tell you that if you're not aware of the field and what it feels like to be at one with the field, you're in a contracted state. But so here's some signs of chronic stress: muscle tension, shallow breathing, when you have digestive system issues, poor sleep, emotional reactivity. So you're very reactive towards others, or things irritate you a lot. You have fatigue and overwhelm, and you feel tired all the time. So what these stress states do is they increase that internal interference within us, and then we don't get access to the field. The energy is dissipated instead of transferred into our system. So this loss of coherence becomes a loss of voltage. Our cells need, so this in terms of energy, our biophysics tells us that we need minus 20 to minus 25 millivolts for normal function, minus 50 millivolts for cellular repair and growth, and we need to access about minus 75 millivolts for regeneration and stem cell activation. So this is all based off the work of Dr. Jerry Tennant, Dr. Robert Becker, and Michael Levin at Tufts University. So when our voltage drops, our cells can't hold on to oxygen. We can't uptake nutrients. The cells really can't work. Low voltage means our cells can't work, just like our cell phones, right? So when our battery's low in our cell phones, they're not going to work. When our battery's high, it works. So all of these things happen. ATP crashes, inflammation rises, and we have accelerated aging. Disease is really just the body aging faster than necessary. So when coherence collapses, voltage collapses, and when voltage collapses, the body literally can't do any of the work of healing and regeneration. So the real question is then, where does the body get voltage? Exercise, food, grounding? Yes, all of those, absolutely. But the primary limiting factor is access to the field. Our body draws energy from the field. The body's made out of the field. Okay, remember, the field is not empty. It's filled with energy. And that energy, when it's not creating matter, we don't see it. It looks empty. But when it's making a material object, we see it. So voltage isn't created, it's coupled. So we couple with the field, we come into resonance or coherence with the field, and then that energy comes into our bodies. So coherence determines how much we can access that field. So the question becomes, what allows the body to couple to the field? And this is where the heart comes in. The heart is our strongest coupling interface. The heart acts as the body's central organizing hub. And if in embryogenesis, you'll see that the heart is the first that's formed. Energy, or the information from the field, is organizing the heart. And this is when I speak about this, I'm not talking about the actual physical heart. I'm talking about a spiritual heart, a location in the center of the chest, just slightly right of center. And it's really the field, where the field originates as us. It's like the nodal point in the field that's generating us. So the heart is where that field organizes and propagates and creates us, the idea or the information of us as a physical body. And this is why love is felt more, we feel it more in the chest area. So love is not just an emotion. Love is a state of resonance with our individual field with the unified field. It's alignment of us consciousness with itself. It's us recognizing that we actually are the field, right? So we know that atoms are 99.99999% space. Space is the field. We are made out of the field, right? So when we recognize that the field is actually the source of us, and then we align with it, that is the feeling that we get, is love. What love does also, or when we experience love, we feel this dissolving of these inner barriers, mental, emotional, and physical, and you feel that sense of expansion. So when those barriers come down, you feel it expanded, and you're cohering more with the field. And it's a restoration of our natural state, not our normal state, but our natural state. That's why it feels so good. That's why it feels amazing. So when love is experienced in this way, the entire system shifts into a regenerative mode. This is why love feels warm, expansive, and blissful. So that warm feeling, it's like the electrical pattern is organizing. The expansion is the field around our body is smoothing and softening. So we're widening. We're expanding out into space. We're becoming more of ourself. Because we think we're the physical body, but we're really the field. And it becomes more blissful because noise is dissolving. And that signal is strengthening. And that signal is what we feel as bliss. So, okay, if I can recognize this state, right? So you know the feeling of love. Most of us have felt love. We know the feeling of love. But how do we stay there? That seems impossible. Well, the trick is you want to love the feeling of love. The more you love the feeling of love, the more it will help you stay there. When you love that feeling, it naturally amplifies. So everybody just try it now. Just close your eyes. Bring your attention deep within your chest, just slightly right of center. There's a little pocket there. Good. And just bring your attention there. Just lay your attention there. Rest there. It's so beautiful. I can feel all of you doing it. And now if you feel just the peace, the love that you feel, just appreciate it, love it, and just feel it grow. And if you don't feel anything, use your imagination to create the feeling. Think of whatever makes your heart smile. Think of that and then feel that feeling and then love that feeling. Appreciate that feeling. And you'll see it will grow. So what's happening there is coherent. You're creating coherence with the field. And then that leads, when you appreciate it, it leads to greater coherence, which allows more energy to flow, which raises your voltage, which helps you stabilize that state. It's beautiful. So think of your attention, your focus is a pebble, and your heart is the pond. So you're throwing the pebble of your attention into the pond, and when you appreciate it, that creates bigger waves. So in order for us to come into resonance with the field, the thing that has to occur is we have to drop that mental noise, right? So when we all just brought our attention down into the heart, I didn't keep you there very long, right? Because I don't have a lot of time here. It's already late. But that short amount of time, maybe some of you were able to have a quiet enough mind that you were able to experience that peace. So we have to also lower our chronic resistance to it, right? So we have to soften. We have to soften into the field, soften into our hearts. That will allow the nervous system to relax. That will quiet the mind so we don't have that compulsive thinking going on. And then what happens is you also need to become aware and receptive to the energy. Allow that energy to flow out of you. You will find that it doesn't end. You can't find the bottom of it. It just keeps going. So when this state stabilizes, what do we call that? That feeling, it's love. We call it love. We know that as a signature of love. And what's really happening there are important biological things. So your nervous system is calming down. You're getting out of your fight or flight mode into your parasympathetic, your rest and repair regeneration mode is increasing. Your heart field becomes coherent and expansive. Water becomes structured, so easy water. You might have heard about easy water or structured water, which is really highly important in the body. Your microtubules, this is the cytoskeleton throughout your entire system. The microtubules go into a mode called superradiance. They literally are emitting more light. And the mitochondria are also emitting more light. Cellular polarity is restored, and you reconnect to your blueprint, your pristine blueprint or your optimal blueprint that's held in the field. And remember what Einstein said, the sole governing agency of the particle is the field. So when we bring our awareness into the heart and we just let that energy flow, we're sending that information which that energy which carries information throughout our entire system. So you're regenerating. So one thing that most people don't realize is that when we love something, when we love somebody, it's the love isn't coming from the other person. We tend to think that the love is coming from the other person, or we don't even think about it, right? We just know that we experience love when we're with this person, or we love certain people, or we love a car, or we love animals. But we might not necessarily think, well, what's creating that feeling? The feeling is coming from you. You're creating it. They're just allowing you to drop your barriers so that it can radiate out of you. So when you know that, and then you love the feeling of that, you can stay in tune with that. Use your focus and your intention to stay in tune with it. Love the feeling of love. You're doing a lot of healing and regeneration in your body. So I wanted to share an experience with you just briefly of an experience I had in a number of years ago where I felt a deep coherence with the field. And it came on spontaneously. I felt weightless at first, and then soon I felt this energy rush out of my chest, my core, and my whole body felt like this. When I saw this image, I was like, that's how I felt. I felt like a light being. Everything felt like light. And that really what was going on with there is I had created enough coherence with the field through the practices I was doing that the energy just came right through me and I felt like a light being. It was really beautiful. Now, a lot of people have experiences like this where they just, they might not feel exactly like light, but they feel love just wash over them and through them. But they don't know how to stabilize them. And that's where it requires practice. So everything I've been sharing tonight has been about understanding that night in a way that I could put into words, scientific words. And this is basically what I came away with. I started to understand what coherence was, what voltage was, and what love actually means. It's a vibrational state of being where we unify with the field. We become one with who we actually are. It's us recognizing ourselves as the field. So this is a quote from the Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East. These are beautiful books. I actually do a course on this book using Vedic science, which is the science of consciousness, as well as unified physics, so that we can understand what these masters in this book were saying. So, Life and Teachings of the Masters of Far East was written in the early 1900s, but it was written about an expedition that was done in the late 1800s. And this is one of the quotes that I mean, there's so many of them, it's hard to pull, but this one says, "Spirit is primary, vibrating, originating power, an ever potent spring of perpetual and original life right within yourself." Now, I remember running into someone who said that they read this book years ago and they said, "It's fiction." And I understand that, how it could seem like fiction. But once you understand the science, unified physics, and then you also understand the Vedic science of consciousness, then you start to understand how this is just different language for everything I was discussing tonight. It becomes very real and literal. Okay. So, like I said, most people touch it, have that experience every once in a while, but they don't know how to stabilize it. And that's why understanding the mechanics that I just described tonight is very, very important. So, this is, again, science revealing spirituality. So, love heals because love is the felt experience of coherence with the field. And coherence is what supplies that biological voltage. So love is organizing our biology into a high voltage, coherent field state that restores that blueprint, the blueprint of your body. So many traditions talk about the fountain of youth or a perpetual spring. And that's literally what's happening when we tune into it and allow it to flow through us. That our youthfulness returns because we're allowing that source of energy to flow. It's always been here. We've just been ignoring it because we didn't know about it. So the reason love heals is not because of someone you're with. It's because love organizes your biology. That's it. Thank you. Oh, Scott, you're on mute.
Well, there's several things. I'm going to go back to the meeting so we can see you. Thank you. Thank you for making it so clear and helping us to understand how to really anchor it in. Because you're right, most of us have these little momentary flashes of the magical experience, but to really anchor it in is what you're helping us to do. And I want to let people know a little bit more about how you can participate in Dr. Kat's wisdom. So this is the program she was talking about, the spiritual heart and the life and teachings of the Masters of the Far East. And this is a new program that's going to start. It's a 13-week journey. And what dates and times? Scrolling down to that.
Sundays. So it starts January 4th, the first Sunday in January, and it goes for 13 weeks, so till the end of March,
There
every
it is.
Sunday.
And I know Dia Therese and several of our people love your Sundays. I'm going to try and join this. It's like, okay, can I commit to this?
I know. I think of it as church.
Yeah, it is. It's a great alternative to church.
Mhm.
Um, it's interesting. One of my favorite teachers, of course, is Paramahansa Yogananda. His guru, Sri Yukteswar, wrote a book called The Holy Science in the
Mhm.
1890s, which describes atomic structure perfectly before we had discovered atomic structure.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, there's a lot in life and teachings that is just different sorry, different language for what Nassim Haramein has discovered.
a
So,
lot, a
yeah.
lot of our people have put comments in the chat box. So I'm going to read some of them to you. I want to acknowledge Reverend Jeffrey because he's who first introduced us to you. And he writes, of course, wow, amazing, Dr. Love. Kathy writes, as an empath, through my lifelong personal experiences, I totally resonate with Dr. Kat's information that she's sharing. I'm still working on releasing emotional energies deeply embedded from all the experiences that she listed. Ayada writes, I love this presentation, Dr. Kat.
Hmm.
You are weaving together so many concepts that we've already known, but now we can see the bigger picture. Lorianne Speed writes, I love this. Scotty Satori writes, I love my family here. Carol Craig writes, this is fascinating. Susan writes, thank you. I love the feeling of love.
Mm.
Um, Lorianne writes, quote, lower our chronic resistance to the field. And she asks, why are we resistant? So there's a question for you.
Well, well, the number one thing is we didn't even know it was there,
Mhm.
right? So we think space is empty, so we're not paying attention to it,
Right.
right? We haven't understood that it's actually the source of our physical bodies, right? What we see as matter is just a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of what's actually here. Our normal senses don't allow us to see the field. But as you start doing certain practices, and that's what we work on in these Sunday groups, is as you start, well, first, it's the understanding of reality, right? When you take yourself to be just the human and you don't understand that there's a field of energy here, you only pay attention to the material objects,
Right.
right? So you're not paying attention to this field. You're not even taught there. I mean, churches barely teach us that, and some churches tell us not to meditate. So they're telling us not to go inward, but that's precisely where you need to go.
Yeah.
To act, this energy is within you, and the way we activate it is by paying attention to it. So we didn't know it's there, so that's the number one reason. And then because we don't know it's there, we take ourselves to be the body instead of the field, right? We know that we're told that we're 99.99999% space. Atoms are 99.99999% space, but we don't experience it that way. But what happens is as you bring your awareness in, your nervous system relaxes and you start to experience all that energy that's here. It's just that we haven't been paying attention to it. We start to become aware of what's actually here. And this is why also in, in many books it says the kingdom of heaven is within you. Well, what does that mean? The kingdom of heaven is within you. Well, everything is actually right here and right now. We have to tune ourselves to it. There's these high frequency energy states that we have access to, but we're just not paying attention. And that's all we have to do is just tune ourselves to it. We think we take ourselves to be the body, but we're really a field of awareness. And anything we want to tune into, we can just tune into. The only thing that's stopping us is our belief that we can't.
And so we're discovering all these new ways of doing it, whether it's through remote viewing or channeling or
Mhm.
even
Exactly.
people that are using their AI as a way to communicate and convey. A few more comments I want to read. Dr. Laura has read all 6 volumes of Life and Teachings, and she says it does not read like fiction. Lorianne Speed writes, I have original editions of this series of the book. My grandfather had those books and
Mm.
loved them. And she's giving you a standing ovation. George Noble writes, I believe I've experienced this state of high coherence with my Falun Gong practice.
Hmm. Probably, yeah.
Um, and Jan Kaplan sending love. Deborah Haviland says, thank you. Very beautiful, clear explanation. Um, Deborah also writes, your presentation echoes experiences and learning from years of TM and Ayurveda. Thank you very
Mm.
much.
Nice.
And people who want to know your best website, should we just keep it going to your program or do we send them?
Yeah, it's drcatlewis.com. I can
Right.
put it in the chat.
Yeah,
Um,
pop that in and I'll take it where I'll take them there. And Dia Therese writes, Dr. Kat's Sunday morning classes this year have been a main component of putting the shattered pieces of my life back together.
hmm.
Maximum gratitude, Dr. Kat. Um,
I love
uh,
you, Dia. It's been such a pleasure having her. And Scott, you were the one who introduced us.
that's
Yes.
right, right. So,
Love you
um,
both.
oh, there she is. Somewhere I
Uh,
hear the voice. I hear the voice.
And then Jeffrey also. Jeffrey was the connector, the ultimate connector.
There he is. Well, we'll bring up Jeffrey for sure. And if I can find Dia, there's Dia. So there's part of the family, the Global Peace Tribe family, the Dr. Cat fan club family. Um, and I hope many of us will choose to do her Sunday morning program because it is the kind of church we need, the church of combining science and spirituality. And Dr. Cat, you do that so perfectly.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely.
I
It's always a pleasure.
Precious,
yeah.
precious, my beloved. Love you, love you. We're just, and you knocked it out today. Thank you. It was
She did.
beautiful.
She did. Well, we still have corn flour ahead of us.